question which you asked was Chidabhasa. You are asking question what is Chidabhasa, or how is Chidabhasa, or how did Chidabhasa come into picture? How did Chidabhasa come into picture is there's no answer for that. In the sense, there are a lot of explanations can be given to make people satisfy the mind of the people. Chidabhasa means a reflected consciousness. So there's consciousness, Chaitanya, the supreme reality, and the world. Okay. Now, is world different from the Chaitanya? World different from consciousness? World appears to be different from consciousness because it has physical form, structure, everything. Whereas consciousness appears to be very different quality. World has a different property and consciousness has a different property. World is insentient and world consciousness is sentient. Now, are there two things called consciousness and the world, which is Purusha and Prakriti, are there two different things? Then if you say the two different things are there, then we take the approach of what we call as Dvaita, or we take the approach of what we call as duality, Sankhya Yoga. There's something called Purusha and Prakriti, they are separate. Now that leads to a lot of questions. If there are two separate things, who created them? Has the creator the ability to create something which is insentient or out of sentience? Or its insentience also there all the time? Okay. Now how can sentient control the insentient? Some of these questions will arise. So the Advaita Vedanta says there is no two. The world and consciousness, they are one and the same thing. The creator and the creation is one and the same thing. This is the principle. But then creator, which is supreme reality, which is pure consciousness, is tranquil, still, motionless. And the world is full of motion, prapancha, that's why it's called prapancha. It keeps on moving continuously. Jagat. Jagat means jayati gacchati, it keeps on moving. So there are two opposite qualities, opposite things, how they can exist in one. So then Advaita comes to a conclusion. Advaita conclusion is that the appearance is not reality, it's appearance. It is like, it's a, what you call as mithya. Mithya means not eternal, not permanent. It's a temporary reality. It is like a dream. When you experience a dream, the dream is real to you, as long as you experience the dream. But the moment you come out of the dream, you say the dream was just after all a dream. So the world is also a sort of dream in consciousness, that's called Maya. This is the conclusion. World has no difference. It's same property. It's same as consciousness, but it's appearance. As objectivity has appeared in subjective consciousness. Consciousness is the eternal subject. In the subject, there is an objectivity which has appeared. That's called world. Now, why that objectivity came? Because there is something called the names and the forms appear. Names appear. The name and form is again a manifestation of Vedic mantras, some of them. Then there is a sense of I. The ego sense appeared. That I sense created the duality. Otherwise, there is a dualism. Appearance is there, but there's no duality. Dualism is that appearance. In the consciousness, there's a appearance, but somebody has to identify with that to experience it. That's where duality happened. That I sense appeared. Okay, and it says some of the Vedic Upanishad mantra says that Chaitanya, the Purusha, entered into them to experience them. That's what it says. Now, the world has no permanent reality. It's not real in the absolute sense. It's real only to the sense of like a dream-like reality. It's real to the extent of your experience. But it has no absolute reality. Absolute reality only consciousness. This temporary reality or mithya is called Chidabhasa. Now, how did the Chidabhasa come into picture? If your question is, the answer is not there. The answer, there are many ways the answer can be given. One day Parabrahma decided he got so bored of this whole thing and he decided I'll have some movie and he started creating. You may say that the creator decided to create some names and forms and started with that, he says. Or you can say that it is just an appearance. Okay, appearance can happen anytime. because it's a part of the consciousness itself, you can say. But there's no correct or clear answer for that. How did it happen? But there's a different scriptures give the process of creation. Okay, there are 5 levels, 4 levels of creation, all those things. In the dualistic texts, especially Dvaita texts, they give the creation level 1, creation level 2, creation sarga, I mean, each creation level they have some names. So it's very nice to read different levels of creation, how the beings came into picture and how they decided to create some next level thing. They did that. Now if you ask Advaiti, he'll say it's all Maya, why do you bother about it? It's just appearance, and now see how you can get out of that, he'll say. Ultimately, there's no answer for this. The reason is simple. Why the answer is not there is, all that is there is consciousness. Even the input in the world is nothing but appearance in consciousness. Now, consciousness trying to understand itself is like a knife trying to cut itself. However you do, you can't do that. Only understanding possible is consciousness. And consciousness is trying to understand itself, and every effort to understand itself will be a failure, will be a misunderstanding. A knife can never cut itself. An eye can never see itself. A consciousness can never understand itself properly. And that improper mismatch is what is this world, Chidabhasa. Next.
So like everything is tied around it, like multiplicity, time, space, everything happens because of Chidabhasa. So like when an individual gets an impression, like where does it go, and how does that impression, how does Chidabhasa bring that impression into play?
So see, these things you can always you can give some answer, relative answer, not absolute answer. Okay, absolute answer if you ask me, okay, I will say that their consciousness alone exists. Consciousness has the ability of awareness, and consciousness becomes aware of itself. Then there is a problem, because like knife is trying to cut itself. There's no way knife can cut itself. Awareness cannot understand itself. So then there's a mismatch and misunderstanding. There's a wrong understanding happens, and that is actually leads to a series of set of creations. That's what I'll say. Okay, a consciousness can never understand itself. There's no way. But any process of trying to understand itself will lead to the word and drama and all those things. And even that understanding will not be complete. So now the other way of saying is, one day the Parabrahma, Supreme Reality, that's what they say. Narayana was sleeping, and Lakshmi in the heart of Narayana, which means heart in the consciousness, she woke up and she removed that Maya, or rather she put Maya into his this thing and said, create the world. Then then Brahmaji was born. Brahmaji started creating, and that creation, the impressions, the creation led to a lot of multiple forms. They had some experience, and those experiences became Shesha. Again, the dissolution happened, Brahmaji dissolved, and again from Shesha that impressions were taken and new creation happened. All those things you can say, it's all explanation. But if you ask me, the real answer for this is the consciousness trying to understand itself will never be a successful venture. It's a failed venture, and that failed venture is Chidabhasa. In my own language, because I had some failed ventures, so I know consciousness can never understand itself. Any attempt of consciousness understanding itself is like a knife cutting itself. It won't do. It won't be able to do that. So Buddha gives for this a very nice answer. Imagine you are going in a forest, and one hunter is there. He shot an arrow at you. The arrow is poisoned. Now what will you do now? You go and ask the address of the hunter. Why did you hit me? You'll start arguing with him, or go and rush and remove that arrow and get some medicine and get healed. So the answer, Buddha says, don't ask these questions. Why all this came into picture? See what you can do and get out. That's what Buddha says. Advaita says this is all Maya. Okay, so there's no answer for this, they'll say. Dvaitins say they'll give a good answer. Narayana is there, he decided to create, and so the creation happened, and all these impressions are created, all those things he'll give. But then, if you ask what is the meaningful answer for out of these, for me, only the honest answer which appear to be meaningful is that consciousness has the ability to understand itself, and all that there is consciousness. Now, only thing consciousness is trying to understand itself in some way or the form, and that becomes Chidabhasa. That's my understanding. And that's always a problem, because consciousness never can understand itself. Eyes can never see itself. Tongue can never taste itself. Consciousness trying to understand itself has a built-in aspect called Maya, and that's called Chidabhasa. That's what my understanding. I may be wrong. There may be some good answers, but I have not found one. But my answer, I am convinced about this answer.